think traffic this morning would make for a great horror film. We're going to talk about movies right now. Last hour, Sylvia Rincon profiled San Antonio's efforts to bring larger film productions here to San Antonio. So is it more dream or more reality? Pablo Veliz helps Sylvia with her story. He's one of the local filmmakers here in town. He runs the Cineveliz film company from Jefferson High School. Wanted to give a plug to your alma mater. So good morning to you. Thanks for being here. So we're talking about San Antonio maybe in line to be the next Hollywood. How realistic do you think something like that is? What would a timetable be for that?
If you're talking about the evolution of the city to actually begin to adopt a film community, well, that may take some time, but it's not an unrealistic goal. And I believe that one of our greatest assets here is independent film, which is right now one of the very strongest markets and niches in filmmaking.
And you don't hear as much about the independent films, but they are being made here, obviously, and there's some very good ones. There's a lot of good talent here in San Antonio, isn't there?
Absolutely. Absolutely, there is.
Present company included.
Thank you.
Yeah. No, we had some video, too. Dagger is one of your projects that I know we were talking about this morning before the show, and we were passing around the DVD, and this is what we're looking at right here. Tell us a little bit about this project. Where did you film all this, and what is the movie about?
Well, see, this film right here, Dagger, it's a pretty cool heist movie, heist story, and one of the very cool things that we did about this film is that this film is set in Los Angeles. It's actually set in Los Angeles, but as you can see from here, if you can recognize it, it's actually shot mostly here in San Antonio, especially the interiors.
Yeah.
One of the tools that we use is we try to bring the resources from Los Angeles to the city, to San Antonio. I'm very fond of my city. It's my hometown, and I like to bring the resources here to use the talent here, because there's wonderful talent here, and there's crew here. From time to time, we do bring a couple of artists from Los Angeles and bring them here, and then we'll take the production halfway through to Los Angeles and shoot all the exteriors over there. But what you see here is actually shot here.
That's great. That's fantastic. One thing that Sylvia mentioned in her story that shocked me, we're talking about incentives, how Texas offers up 5% incentives, but some states, Louisiana, Michigan, can offer as much as 50% incentives, and that's why a lot of the filmmakers will end up leaving Texas.
It's true. It's true. There's a lot of Texas film. I mean, what the legislature is trying to do right now is try to come up with some competitive incentives that can actually compete against our neighboring states.
Like grants.
But you're right, yeah, exactly. And right now, what we have is 5% on $1 million production or more, or 6.25 here in San Antonio.
And when you say that, just not to interrupt you, but when you say 5%, that means if you make $1 million, or the movie makes $1 million, you...
No, if you spent $1 million in Texas production force, right.
So if you spend $1 million making your film, you only get back potentially 5%?
Correct. You get a 5% grant, which in comparison to other states that allow for even a smaller investment pool, for example, you can spend as little as $50,000 in a couple of states, which would be great, and it's a really good incentive. I guess what keeps me here, my incentive is actually having the fringe benefits that I have from the town, that I'm established here, and the people here like us, like the company, and we get to shoot, for free in several locations, and we actually have the friendship of the film commission and the film commissioner here in San Antonio.
Yeah.
Those are our incentives right now.
And this is something that didn't just start yesterday. I mean, Sylvia talked to State Representative Joaquin Castro, and this is something that's been in the works, and I know when you're working with the legislature, it can take a while to get something done, right?
Yeah, it can take a little while.
Yeah, so what is next? What's next in the step? What has to happen for your dream ultimately to become reality?
Like I said, for me, at my business plan right now, my business plan works for me. Here in Texas, it's working because I am bringing resources from LA that when they instantly land in Texas, they double, just because of our economy and because of our resources here. But it would be great for me, ideally, if you're asking me what would be my dream, to get some of those incentives that other neighboring states have, to actually have them be here in San Antonio. For us, for the independent filmmakers, the productions that are $1 million or less.
Right.
Because it's going to take a while to spend $1 million to actually start getting some benefits or start benefiting from actually giving jobs here in Texas.
So we need something like that to happen before we see like The Dark Knight or those kinds of movies being made here in San Antonio.
That would be absolutely great. See, and there's lots of films that by default or by what the script demands have to be shot in Texas. So people have to come here and shoot them because they need that look. But we want other films just because they want to come here in Texas to shoot them in Texas. Like New Mexico or Arizona, they get all sorts of films.
That's true.
We'd love to have that here.
Well, you do have Cineveliz, that's your production company. If people would like to find out more about what you do, your projects, they can go online. We have a link to set up to his website right now at KBB.com. And we wish you all the best. Thanks for coming in. And you're so young, too. It's amazing how talented you are. But keep up the good work. Don't forget about us when you're accepting the Oscar, okay, in a few years. Thank you, Pablo. Nice to meet you. 721.